Hi everybody, so this video is going to go over the Unit 1 review for your final. Now I know the assignment does actually say Units 1 and 2, but I just forgot to change the title. I took out everything that goes over Unit 2, and there is another video for that, so make sure you check that out to do the Unit 2 part. So this is only going to go over Unit 1. All right, let's get into this. So first problem here, we have -5 equals x minus 3. Now the main thing you have to remember is when you have these basic algebra problems, you always need to use opposite operations. Now plus and minus are opposite operations, and then multiplication and division are opposite operations. So on this problem here, we have division. This is x divided by 3. Remember, all fractions are really just division problems. So we have x divided by 3. So to solve, we multiply both sides by 3. So this, we have divided by 3, then multiply by 3. That just cancels out. And over here, we have 3 times -5 is -15. And over here we just have x. So we have our answer. Our answer here is -15. Now for the review, we do have the check answer button to see that we are correct. On your final, you will not have a check answer button. So you need to make sure you plug this back in for x. So where it says x, replace it with -15. -15 divided by 3 is -5. So this checks out. All right, for number 2 here, we have to do some distribution. You do distribution whenever you see parentheses in a problem with a number outside the parentheses. We do distribution by taking this outside number here, it's 4, and we multiply it by each of the inside terms. So we're going to multiply 4 times 3r, that's going to give us 12r. And then we're going to multiply 4 times -1, which is -4. All right, so now we've done our distribution, we've gotten rid of our parentheses, and now we can solve. Again, we have to use opposite operations to solve. We have to get rid of this 12, and we have to get rid of this -4 to isolate our r. Whenever you're doing algebra, your main goal is to get the letter, the variable, by itself. So we have to get rid of these other numbers here. If it's minus, then you do the opposite, which is plus. So we're going to add 4 to both sides. If you have multiplication like we do here and subtraction, always do the addition or subtraction first. So we're going to add 4 to both sides. -4 plus 4 cancels out, just leaving us a 12r on this side. And 44 plus 4 is 48. So now we have multiplication, so we are going to divide. We divide both sides by 12. These now cancel, leaving us just an r. And 48 divided by 12 is 4. So we could, 4 is going to be our answer. And like I said before, on the final, you won't have the check answer button, but you can plug 4 in for r. So this is 3 times r minus 1. So if we do 3 times 4, which is 12, minus 1 is 11. And then 4 times 11 is 44. All right, so here we have a little bit more complex of a problem. Whenever you see parentheses, that's where you should always start and do your distribution. So let's do that first. We have 3 times v, which is 3v. And then we have 3 times -3, which is -9. Then we could just copy down the rest of the problem here. Okay, next thing to look for is, do you have like terms on the same side of the equation? And here we do. We have a 3v, and we also have a 2v. Those are like terms. So we need to combine those. 3 and 2 is 5v. Again, go ahead and just copy down everything else. Make sure you don't forget a portion of this. I've seen a lot of people, after they combine their like terms, they'll just write 5v equals 3 minus v, and they'll totally forget this -9. Anything you don't use, it's just going to pull down. So we have 5v minus 9 equals 3v, 3 minus v. So now, next thing we have to look for is, do we have like terms on opposite sides of the equation? And here we have a 5v and a negative v. Remember, this is just negative 1v. Anytime you do, you need to get rid of the ones on one of the sides. And you always want to get rid of the one that has a lower value. So we have 5 and we have negative 1. Negative 1 is our lower value. So we are going to add 1v to both sides. Now we have minus 1v plus 1v, that's going to cancel. 5v plus 1v is 6v. Minus 9, again, we didn't use this minus 9, so it just pulls down, and we have a 3 over here. All right, so now we're back to what we had in the last problem on number 2 here. We have multiplication, 6 times v, and we also have subtraction, minus 9. I always get rid of the addition or subtraction first, so we are going to add 9 to both sides. And these will cancel, leaving us a 6v. We're out of room down here. And 9 plus 3 is 12. Oh, forgot to add the v. So now we have to divide both sides by 6. Again, the 6 times v, so we do the opposite, which is divide. Divide both sides by 6. And I'll write it over here. These will cancel, just leaving us v. And 12 divided by 6 is 2. So our answer here is 2. All right, so on this problem, we have parentheses on both sides, so we're going to have to distribute on both sides. So let's start off over here on the left. We have 2 times x, which is 2x. And then 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. And then we still have this minus x over here that we didn't do anything with. And on this side, we do 3 times x, which is 3x. And then 3 times negative 2, which is negative 6. All right, so now again we can see we have like terms on the same side. We have a 2x and we have a minus 1x, so we're going to combine those. 2 minus 1 is 1x. Anytime it's 1x, you don't have to write the 1. You can, but you don't have to. It's just put the x. We still have this minus 4. We didn't do anything with the minus 4, so that has to stay there. And then we didn't do anything with this whole side, so we'll just pull that down as well. All right, now, just like we did on the last one, we still have x's on both sides. We have variables on both sides, so we have to get rid of one of them. This is 1x, this is 3x. So the 1x is going to be our lower value, so we're going to get rid of that one. So we're going to subtract x from both sides. This will cancel, just leaving negative 4 over here. And 3x minus 1x is 2x. And we still have a minus 6. All right, so now we have x. We have it multiplied by 2. We have it subtracted by 6. Always start with the addition or subtraction. So we are going to add 6 to both sides. Negative 4 plus 6 is positive 2. And over here we just have 2x because that canceled. And now we need to divide both sides by 2. And we end up with 2 divided by 2 is 1. That cancels, so x equals 1. And again, even with these really long problems, we could still check our answer and make sure we're right. It's going to be a little more complicated, but everywhere you see an x, just plug in a 1. So 2 times 1 minus 2 minus 1 equals 3 times 1 minus 2. So over here, 1 minus 2 is negative 1. Negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. Then we have minus 1. And over here, we have 1 minus 2 again is negative 1. And then times 3 is negative 3. So do we have a true statement here? Negative 2 minus 1 is negative 3. So now we know that we're good. All right, here we have an absolute value equation. Anytime you have absolute value, what you need to do is to split it into 2 separate equations. Your first equation is going to be exactly what's there. So k minus 6 equals 13. And your other equation is going to be the same on the left, but it's going to be the opposite on the right. So here was positive 13. We're going to make this one negative 13. and then we just solve both of the equations. So here we have minus 6, so we're going to add 6, and we'll end up with k equals 19. And over here, it's again, it's a minus 6, so we're going to add 6. And we end up with k equals negative 13 plus 6 is negative 7. So 19 and negative 7. Make sure we're right there. All right. All right, so this one here has been giving a lot of people trouble. I think I got more questions on this one than anything else on this whole assignment, this and number 7, which is very similar. It gets a little confusing because we're not dealing with numbers, we're just dealing with only variables here. But we solve it the exact same way. I mentioned before on some of the other ones that if you have multiplication and addition and subtraction, you get rid of the addition and subtraction first. So the first thing we're going to do here is add b to both sides. Now, since these aren't numbers, they're just letters, we can't really add, subtract, and multiply, so we're really just moving things around. So here we have minus b plus b, so that's going to cancel out. So over here, it's just going to remain z plus b equals m times a. So now if this was 3a, we're trying to solve for a. Then over here it says a equals. So we know we want to isolate the a, get it by itself. If this was 3a, we would divide both sides by 3. Since it's ma, we still do the same thing. We're going to divide both sides by m. So now this is going to cancel out, just leaving us a. And this is just going to stay the same because we can't do anything with this. So our answer here is actually z plus b divided by m. So over here we do z plus b. Now there was a lot of confusion on how to even type this in. What I realized that if you highlight the whole thing and then hit the / button, then it will let you put that in like that. A lot of people have been doing z plus b and then hitting it, and then it makes it want to just go under that. If you end up with this, just delete that part and up here click next to the b and you could write in your z plus. So this is what it should look like, z plus b divided by m. All right, so here's another one here with just the letters, but again, here we're trying to solve for x, but again, we're just going to be doing the exact same things we would do if there were numbers involved. If all these except for the x were numbers, we would do the same thing. So I think number 1 on this assignment was exactly like this. It had x divided by 3. So since it was divided by 3, we multiply both sides by 3. For this one, it's c. But all we're going to do is multiply both sides by c. So c times g over here. These c's canceled out and just left us x times y on this side. So now we got to get rid of our y. Since it's multiplied, we are going to divide both sides by y. These y's will now cancel out, and this is what we'll end up with, c times g divided by y. So x equals c times g divided by y. Hit the wrong button. All right, there we go. All right, almost done. Just 2 more here. Here's everyone's favorite story problems here. I know we all love story problems, but this story problem in particular is one you really need to know how to solve because all of you, if you don't already, will have jobs in the future and you're going to earn a certain amount of money per hour at your job, and you're going to need to know, 1, what it is you're making, and 2, how many hours you worked, and be able to figure out if you're getting paid the correct amount. So here we have 5. It says you work 5 hours, making a total of $48.95. So how you find your hourly wage, it says use H for your variable. You would time the amount of hours you work times how much money you make per hour, and that's going to equal the total amount of money that you make. So here's our equation. And then since this is 5 times h, we are going to divide both sides by 5. And we are going to get that h is equal to $9.79. This is one of those, and as for all story problems, always make sure that your answer makes sense. $9.79, that is definitely an amount of money that a lot of people make per hour, especially if you work at like a McDonald's or a Walmart, or you have an entry level type of job. You don't have a college degree or a high school degree. Even $9.79, that is the amount of money that a lot of people do make. When I first put this in my calculator, I accidentally did not hit the decimal, so I made 48.95 actually went in as $4,895. Then when I divided by 5, I came out with $979. Nobody makes $979 an hour. My wife is a lawyer, and she does not make $979 an hour. Doctors also don't. Maybe if you're Bill Gates or you're Jeff Bezos, CEO of a huge corporation, maybe you make that much. But that's just a little ridiculous. Nobody makes that, so you should have. I immediately knew that was wrong. But 979, that sounds about right. So let's. First of all, they want the equation, so up here you would put 5h equals 48.95. 5h equals 48.95. And then down here, what did we find out? It was 979. 9.79. All right, so last one here, number 9. This says that you spent $50 on supplies, and then you sold items for $2 each. After the sale, you had $180. So after all of that, you had $180. So we know right off the bat it's going to be equal 180. You just have to figure out what we put over here. When you're trying to find your profit, you need to subtract what you spent from what you earned. So we don't know how many items we sold, so that's going to be our x. So it's going to be 2x because we don't know how many we sold, but whatever that number is, we're going to multiply by 2 because they were $2 each. But then we have to subtract that $50. So here's our equation. We need to add 50 to both sides. That will cancel out, leaving us 2x equals 180 plus 50 is 230. And then we could divide both sides by 2, and we find out that x equals 230 divided by 2 is 115. So our answer here is D. All right, so that is it for this assignment. I will be posting the video for the Unit 3 review for your final soon here tonight, so make sure you check out all 3 of these videos and you finish all 3 of those assignments. When you're done putting in all the answers I told you to put in so that you can get 100% of the assignment, each of these assignments are open up so that you can take them 3 different times a day. If you need a 4th or a 5th time, just send me an email. I'll open it up again. But make sure you just continuously do this until you understand all of these questions and how to do all of them. If you know 1, 2, and 3, units 1, 2, and 3, all the reviews, you're good with all of them. You're ready for the test. So make sure you take the time, learn it all. If you have any questions, let me know, and I will see you all on Friday.